we go. We got some people joining in. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Match a Resident Live. It is Dr. V, where we empower IMGs. Don't judge the hat. I've been on inpatient service, and it's been really crazy. So wearing a surgical cap every day because of COVID floors means not a good hairdo, okay? We're just going to fix that there. Okay, awesome. I'm here to talk to you guys about anything and everything. I know it's February, which means rank lists have opened. So I'm here to kind of answer more questions, I guess, about rank lists. But to be honest, every time I'm on here, I answer anything and everything that you guys have questions about. So please feel free to start chatting and sending questions. I did have quite a few questions already kind of messaged to me, so I'm gonna go through those. But if you guys have other things, please start adding them onto the chat because this is where it's at. So I'm gonna start off. Someone did ask me in regards to what is the kind of best way to put the rank list together. In my opinion, and I've kind of talked about this on my previous YouTube videos, as well as a lot of other people have mentioned this on MAR. A lot of the people that have already matched last year and the year before, the best way to put together a rank list is to actually start, if you haven't already, it might be too late, right after interviews. You know, after every interview, I would jot down what I loved about this program, what questions I had about this program, how I felt about the program, genuinely my initial feelings. Like, I would leave every interview and be like, this is how I felt. Good, bad, good, but I have questions. You know, whatever I felt, I would write that down first. So that way, by the time my rank list came around, and I had my last interview around end of January, I canceled my February interviews because by that time I already had 26. So I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. It was tiring and it was a lot of travel. But you know what helped me the most? Because at the end, and I'm sure a lot of you guys feel this way, they all kind of seem the same, okay? Everything blurs together. Hey, Dr. Z. Everything kind of starts blurring together in terms of the interviews. You know, hospitals look or sound the exact same. Programs sound the exact same. You know, everyone has the same benefits, kind of, sort of. So for me, my rank list really depended on how I felt right after that interview. If I felt good after that interview, I really went with my gut feeling at the time because I trusted my gut feeling. Another thing that really helped me was making a list based on priorities, okay? My priorities were things like exposure, you know, fellowship opportunities, because I did internal medicine. Fellowship opportunities, location was really, really huge for me. Is this place going to be 5 hours from the airport? Or is it going to be 30 minutes from the airport? You know, things like, for me, my priority list was, what was on the lower on the priority list was things like benefits, things like ancillary stuff, because for me, that didn't have that much of a priority, because for me, I wanted to be in a robust program. I wanted to be well-rounded by the time I'm done residency, be able to have good network, good connections, and that's how I prioritize my rank list. I put kind of all my so I applied to IM and FM, both. So I actually had a very interesting rank list where it wasn't one and then the other. It was intermixed. I would have an IM program, then an FM program, then an FM program, then an IM program, because I really went based on my gut feeling. So that's how I did my rank list, and I truly feel like I loved my rank list because it really went based on, these are the 5 programs I would be so happy in. 6 to 10 was I'd be happy. It would be kind of a bummer, but I'd be happy. And then more than 10, honestly for me, was just, I'm ranking this in case crap hits the roof, you know? I'm ranking this in case something happens with the algorithm, and I have to match in these. So my 10s to 20s, I wasn't so keen on. The hardest choices of ranking is definitely 1 to 5. Unless I knew for sure this is my number 1 program, but I didn't really have that. I didn't really have this is my number 1 program. It was only after interviews that I really, really decided, okay, this program is really what's best for me. So a lot of people are joining, which is awesome. Welcome. If you guys have any questions, whether it's rank list related or anything, residency advice, med school, I guess a little bit more about myself. I'm Dr. V. I have my own YouTube channel called VMD, where I kind of post videos for matching or kind of like applying to residency in ERAS. I see lots of love coming through. I kind of use my Instagram as an expression of myself, but also the real life, like real everyday life of residents. I matched in New York City to SUNY Downstate, which is State University of New York. They have 2 campuses, upstate and downstate, and I'm in internal medicine. So people want to do IM and you have questions, please ask. I love that so many people are joining. That's awesome. I get actually another question that I got asked before the live started was my take on step 1. I get this asked a lot because step 1 went from, score to pass fail. My opinion on that is, as an IMG, I don't think you totally get screwed. A lot of people think that, because IMGs, we work so hard. I went to the Caribbean as well. I'm Canadian and I went to SGU. Totally the best time of my life. But we work so hard to get those high scores in step 1 to be so competitive for USM elite, residency spots for the US. Do I think step 1 being pass fail changes that for us? Not entirely. I think that we can definitely get the score advantage for step 2, but a lot of the times clinicals, the experiences, the USCE, the letters, they become way more important. So I would say don't be too worried about step 1 being pass and fail. Put in all your energy, obviously, to pass. Put in all your energy to get the amazing scores on step 2. But then make sure you make those connections with US attendings, especially in your field. And I cannot stress this enough. I think letters that are specialty specific, that say directly so-and-so is going to be a fantastic doctor in this specialty, is what makes your application stand out. Obviously also interviews are pretty huge. I know that we're in Feb, so pretty much we're nearing the end, if not ended. I know some programs still have a few interviews here and there. But yeah, that's what I would say is my opinion on step 1 being pass fail. All right, we got lots of people in here, but let me go back and see if we have any questions so far. I'm just trying to remember the ones that I got asked beforehand on my channel and on MAR before we kind of started. I'm so surprised no one has any questions. Oh, here we go. Now they're kind of rolling in. So the first one we have is from, I'm just going to say like the first couple of letters because sometimes people's Instagram handles are so long, including mine. So Ruck says, should we rank programs based on our IV experience, interview experience, IV, just medicine all day, based on our interview experience or the program where we want to match, even though we had a bad interview experience? Fantastic question. Okay, it's fantastic because I was in the same position as Ruck is right now, clearly. I based my rank list on overall how I felt about the program, not about the interview as much, and I'll tell you why. Even though the interview may be, bad for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person interviewing you, especially if it's like a large program you're interviewing for where there's like 15 plus candidates in one day, I think you should base it on how you feel about the program. If you feel like this is the program that's for you, if you feel like you've worked hard enough to be at this program and you qualify and you're the type of resident that they're looking for, because I know, being on the other side now, we on our interview days explain very clearly this is the type of resident we're looking for, right? Adaptable, able to work in a low socioeconomic environment like Brooklyn, blah, blah, blah. So if you feel like you meet the requirements for a good resident in that program, yes, a bad interview experience can definitely hit your morale a little hard. But if you feel like everything else works out and it's just the one bad interview experience, I would still rank that program high. And I had sort of the same thing. The program that I ranked number 1, I remember coming out of that interview and being like, oh God, I just don't know, because it didn't seem like the interviewer was so into me, like into knowing what I'm talking about. Like I could kind of see him like checking out his phone and looking around, but it's fine. Like I get it on the other side now because a lot of them are attendings. They have to go for rounds, this and that. I get it, but still, it hits your morale a little bit hard, right? If you have a bad interview experience. That being said, long story short, summarizing my answer, I think you should rank it based on you your priorities of how important that program is to you, regardless of a bad interview experience. And if you make your rank list that way, again, even if you don't get first choice and you get second choice, it's okay. Your top 5 is where I had the hardest time picking. After that, it was kind of like easier for a rank list. But I think, yeah, base it on how important the program is to you. Bashizi90, did you get a lot of communication from the program's post-interview? We are ranking you to match. I'll be honest, no. If I can remember correctly, and it's been a while now, it's been like 2 years. I did send all the programs, unless they said specifically, do not send us a email or a love notes or a letter or anything. I didn't do a letter, but some people did. Other than those programs, I did send everybody a follow-up thank you, usually a thank you short email to the program coordinator. And if I met the PD, fantastic, like a quick email to them. If I knew a resident really well or I really connected with the resident, I would give them a quick one too, depending on the time that I had. I think for sure at least maybe 30% of the time I would get a follow-up email saying, oh, thanks for, giving us an email. We liked you, blah, 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 this and that. Did I get one, we are ranking you to match? I did get one out of the 24 that I went to. I got one that said we are ranking you to match. Unfortunately, I didn't rank them as high. But that's the honest truth, and that's kind of, I don't really think it's a game, but that's just what happens, right? The programs I wanted to hear back from, I didn't, but did I match into my top 3? Yeah, I did. But I did not hear back from them. So don't be hurt if you don't hear back from a program that you love. Just be confident you were selected for an interview, which means you meet the criteria, all right, which means you worked your butt off to get there. Be confident on how your interview went and your communication skills and all that good stuff. But don't stress too much if you don't get the we are ranking you to match email back, okay? Okay, great. Any advice for medical students who's going to take step 1? Kathy, taking step 1, so I just kind of talked about that. If you're an IMG taking step 1 because it is pass-fail, I don't think that that's going to be bad in any sort of way for anybody. I think that you need to work that much harder on step 2 to have extremely high competitive grades, I guess, the score, and then the rest of your profile needs to be very well-rounded, and I think LORs and U.S. clinical experiences are amongst the priorities of those things. The rest of the things that go on your profile, I think like the volunteer and all that stuff maybe after that, but also how your school talks about you on the MSPE and your transcript is kind of in the middle and up there. But advice for taking step 1, I think a lot of resources are pretty much still the same, right? First aid, Pathoma. If you're an Anki fan, Reddit has awesome Anki decks, which can literally summarize everything. I actually am looking for one for Mixup right now for IM boards, so if anybody knows, link me. But yeah, it just kind of depends on what resources work best. But I think those resources that have been like used throughout, for micro, I use Sketchy. So use your resources, plan well, organize your time for step 1. All right, Dr. Z. Today we have interviewed an assistant PD, Dr. Carmen D. That's awesome. In addition to Dr. V's input, he answered the PF question, the pass-fail question. Great. So guys, don't forget to tune in on Match Your Residence channel very soon, where you're going to be hearing from word of mouth from an assistant PD, and that's such good, that's a really good person to hear from, an assistant PD. A lot of the times, again, with big programs, like for example, my program, where we, including our prelims, accept up towards like 60 people, and we are a huge base in the center of Brooklyn, which is why we need so many residents. My PD, to be quite honest, doesn't have the time for every single interview every single day. So the APDs are just as important, if not more sometimes. Like, APD advice would be so beneficial. So if Dr. Carmendi's coming on to MER, I would not miss that. All right, no worries, Rock. How many interviews? I keep thinking IVs. You keep saying IV, and I'm thinking IV. How many interviews is ideally enough approximately to match? When I was in your guys' shoes in 4th year, I was always told get at least 10 interviews. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how accurate that is, because I know people, my own friends, that have matched with less, and I know people that have had more than 10 and not matched in their top 10, whether that's like couples match or things like that. Every year is a little different for sure. I think for you guys, virtual I know it's been a little tough with the virtual because a lot of the times without the virtual aspect, when we were traveling, people would cancel, so the wait list would go faster. Right at the end of January, I actually had to cancel on a couple because the wait lists were just opening up and I was getting like back-to-back interviews, and I just, but I don't think that that's as prominent for you guys that are in virtual interviews, if I'm correct. A lot of the fourth years I talked to in downstate, kind of the same scenario. So I know it's a little bit tougher because wait lists aren't open as much. But going back to the main question, I don't think there's a magical number you have to hit. If you had 5 interviews and you killed every single one of them and you had great communication with the PD, that's enough. Okay? You could have 10 interviews and be like, in each interview, or you can have 2 interviews and be rocking. So I don't really think it's a magic number, in my opinion. All right. What else? Ahan, what's the best way to find good electives? Okay, something that's asked a lot. Ahan, I will have to say there's quite a few good sites. Okay, Reddit definitely for IMGs is good. There's Facebook groups, including MAR has a great Facebook group where people will put, USCE that they see or they hear around. If you want one in Brooklyn, my program kind of has, not my program, but I know an attending that kind of takes people for electives. A lot of the times it's private attendings. I don't know of that many like academic-based centers that take it, other than if it's a known externship or an observership. In my opinion, though, if you're gonna do a U.S. clinical experience, try to do one hands-on. Try to do one where you're not just, watching people, you're actually involved, and that way you can get a strong LOR. But yeah, so Facebook groups, Reddit is fantastic. MAR, we post things sometimes. Also, there is a new IMG group. I'm trying to remember the name, but this IMG doc, he's an OBGYN. He matched here from, I think, Colombia, somewhere in South America, and he put up a huge Word document of electives. I think his name is Sebastian. If you guys want to Instagram him, Sebastian MD, he's started his own IMG forum. He has a Google Doc that has a list of just IMG friendly electives. If you guys want to DM me, I will try to find this link for you. I can't remember everything right now or where I found it, but he sent it to me before, so maybe I can try to see if I can find it for you. But research online, and if you can do something hands-on, if COVID and borders and all that allows, that's probably best. All right, let's keep going. 3074 Nilufi. What's a good step 2 score for internal medicine? I don't want to give you a vague answer, and I really don't know the exact answer. So, MAR, Residency, Explorer, and Frida, all of those will have for the programs that do make it public, the cutoffs for step 2 scores. I'm sure they'll change, and as they do sometimes every year. In my opinion, I'll tell you what I had to give you an idea. So in my time, I feel so old. Step 1 did have a score. So I had a 229 on step 1 and a 242 on step 2, and I Canadian, went to IMGs. I had all LORs from USCE because SGU has all of our clinical experiences in the US. And I think I made pretty good networks, and my interviews were pretty good, and I had roughly upwards to 14 IM interviews, if that helps. So I had a 242 or 245, can't really remember, but low 240s. And I thought that was enough interviews for me to feel comfortable before match. So I don't know if that helps, but definitely websites, the program's websites themselves, the most accurate source, MAR, Frida, Residency Explorer, those 4 sites, those 4 resources to know what is a good cutoff for step 2 scores for internal medicine programs, and also any program, surgery, peds, whatever. Go to the websites, figure out what your top programs are, and if you don't have them, that's fine. But take a good average of, okay, look at 30 sites, 30 peds programs in the IMG friendly areas, like East Coast, West Coast, South. See what their average step 2 cutoff scores are and aim for that. All right, great. Moving along. Nikita Goel. How long do you study for step 1 as an SU student, since there is not much time if students start in August? So I also started in August. just because I never took a break. I just went back to back to back. I went U of T, SGU, and I tried to use the breaks in between. But I am happy I did that because I didn't lose steam, I'll be honest. Of course, things happen and people have to take breaks, and that's otherwise. I had about 7 weeks. I took a week off right after term 5, and I went home and kind of tried to get myself together before going hardcore into 6 weeks. So I had about roughly 7.5 weeks. I thought it was enough only because I felt, knowing me, and this is where you have to know yourself. What kind of a learner are you? You know, are you somebody that needs a couple of more revisions to be strong? I'm the type of person, and I'll tell you, if I don't have a deadline that is approaching my butt, it's going to be harder for me to put in that much more work. So when I was in it, and it was tough, I'm telling you, and it's still tough, even though it's pass fail. Don't take that crap lightly, that exam lightly. You know, work your butt off for it, even to pass, because at the end of the day, it's knowledge, and knowledge is power. So I thought 6.5, 7 weeks was enough, but that's because as that deadline was approaching, I pushed myself. And again, I don't think I did tremendously amazing. Like, you know, I know people that got 240s on step 1, and that's fine, but I was content with myself. I was like, you know what? I know I'm not good at standardized exam. I shine with hard work, and I'm not a good test taker. But I shine with, you know, personality, hard work, and, you know, showing up to work every day. So that's kind of how I did with my own study schedule. I just made sure I showed up, and I tried the best I could, and I was very, very content with high 220s. And, yeah, and I still matched in a fantastic program. So how you study, really depends. But do I personally think 6.5 weeks, 7 weeks is enough? Yeah. My sister's also going to be starting med school this year, and I told her, just do it, get it done, you know, then you can live your life after, like we are. No worries, Raksh, you can keep saying Ivy. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just going down. Project IMG, thank you. Mariah Dree, yeah, Project IMG is by Sebastian MD or something like that on Instagram. If you go to his website, or if you go to Project IMG's website, he's linked on there, and he has a list of electives. So don't forget to check him out. He's also a really, really cool guy. Dr. Seabass, yes, Sebastian Seabass, something like that. Thank you, Dr. Z. Okay, cool. No worries. Happy to help. Okay, value of telerotations. Do PDs consider it to be valid USE? I think amongst the pandemic, yes, there is a lot of understanding and appreciation of IMGs trying to make this work who cannot physically be here. I get that. I've been a part of my interview seasons from my program in the primary care tract, and we have looked at everybody pretty equally. Again, I can only speak for my program, not everybody, so not to generalize, but we understand when we're talking, you know, after the interviews, and we're kind of huddling and talking about people and, you know, who we liked, who we really liked, who didn't really stand up to us. There's never been really a discrepancy between, oh, you know what, this person did telerotations. We understand. A lot of programs understand. If you can't physically come into the country, it's totally understandable. Projecting on to next year, I don't know how things are going to be. I hope that as, you know, vaccine rates go up and, you know, things kind of calm down. I mean, we know, like, UK and London has been, like, mask free. It's just another flu kind of thing. I hope that the next upcoming year that people are able to kind of come in, because I think the value of doing things in person and just understanding the U.S. healthcare system and how things roll here and how you fit in, most importantly, is important to kind of figure out for yourself. So I think any USCE is good experience. So I think there is great value of telerotations, especially now that a lot of primary care and outpatient has gone into telerotations once the COVID numbers rise, at least for us. Last Y block, we were all on telerotations. So I think there's definitely value. If that's the only thing you can get, please do it. If you can get something more hands-on, that's great. Please do it. Anything you can get. Okay, Bashizi, do you recommend doing anything in 4th year of med school to prepare for intern year? Bash, just enjoy your life. Just enjoy it. If you really want to prepare, though, I will say one thing. My goal was to finish up step 3 before starting med school or starting residency. That was my goal. Obviously, I ended up making a YouTube channel and it didn't happen. But had I not done that, I don't regret that at all. My plan was to. So I did start studying after, mid 4th year for step 3, just because, for example, I'll tell you, I'm in internal medicine. I don't really have to worry about peds and OB after that, right? So I was like, I want to really focus on first year learning how to be a good intern. That's the most important thing. Workflow, efficiency, knowing your resources, knowing who to go to for help, getting into the work-life balance of now you are employed, money. So I wanted to focus on that in intern year. So I wanted to get step 3 out of the way. And same thing with some of my girlfriends. If you're in peds, you don't really want to focus on IM stuff. So that would be one thing I would do. In terms of other prep, I would say, honestly, enjoy your life 100%, because when things start, you're just going to regret not enjoying that time. I totally do not regret in taking off a bunch of time and enjoying it. I would say enjoy it, but if you really, really want to, nerd life forever, step 3. Okay, next. Nikita, do you have extracurriculars during 1st and 2nd years of med school? Yes, I did. I went to SGU, and there were a ton of extracurricular opportunities there. I was a part of, I kind of tagged along with my friend in Women in Medicine. I was part of the Canadian Students Association. We had like a Indian Students Association group there too, which was kind of fun. What else did I do? That's all I can think of right now. But the cool thing about, going to a Caribbean med school is that there's a lot of local things, a lot of local, help, like NGOs type of thing, where you can go to the local hospital and volunteer. I know that one of my friends, I just saw him on Instagram the other day, he's like there right now. He's graduated, but he kind of went back to help with the COVID crisis. So he's kind of swabbing people. So I think there's a lot of extracurriculars, at least at SGU, and I'm sure from what I've heard from other people that have been my friends and matched, both Ross, Saba, AUA, AUC, there's a lot of extracurricular opportunities there. I do recommend continuing extracurriculars during 1st and 2nd years as much as you can handle with your study schedule. Do I think grades and transcript is a priority? Totally. Do I think you need to have a hobby that gets your mind off things, and if that ties into an extracurricular? Totally. I think it needs to be a balance. So yes, continue doing extracurriculars. How hard is it to prepare for step 3 in PGY1? Rux? Okay, so back to my story of I was gonna do step 3 in summer and I didn't because I made a YouTube channel, which I don't regret. And then I started 1st year. I finished it off quick though. My goal was before December of that 1st year. We started in July 1st. I finished it off November. I actually did the 2nd day of step 3 on my birthday, believe it or not. I was like, I can't wait to get this thing over. How hard is it to prepare? I think that depends highly on your schedule and how good you are at time management. I started off with a lot of inpatient floor rotations, which means I got 1 day off a week, which means usually I'm done by 4 or 5 in the afternoon, weekends, half days. You got to just put in the work. I will not say it was easy, but I think it was doable. It's just going to take a month or 2 of just no social life and, just really, really prioritizing on mental and physical well-being while you're studying. But totally doable. Of course, it depends. I know some people in my program that had a month of ICU when they started right away. They couldn't do it, right? A month of nights, that gets hard. That gets tough on your body. Put yourself first. They couldn't do it. They had to take it later on in the year, or there's still some people in my program that are pending to take it now. I would say definitely, though, for me, get it done as early as possible, because then you can start working on board stuff. And I think that's more important anyway, because the farther you delay it, things like peds, OB, like, I don't know, I was forgetting things, even though I had just written step 2, like, the year before. But a year, you learn a lot of things, so it's easy to forget. But it's not really hard. It's doable as long as, you have it in you to time manage and push yourself. Okay, great questions, guys. Keep them coming. Appreciate the word. Oh, thank you for complimenting the beanie. Again, I've been on inpatient floors, so the surgical caps don't do very nicely for a hairdo. So this is just hiding a lot of mess, but I will take that compliment. No worries, Kathy. Happy to help. Come on, guys. Keep up the questions. I will actually answer one that did come up on my DM earlier. Hold on, I'm trying to pop up in my note that I wrote on it on my watch. Okay, the question was, Oh, this is a very interesting question. I like it. Okay, it's kind of worded differently, but in order to, how hard do you find it basically doing a work-life balance with residency? I know you're part of MAR, and I see you on Instagram, you do quite a lot of other things. How do you do a work-life balance? Long story short, I think everything in your life deserves a priority at certain times. You know, family deserves a certain time. I actually was off Instagram recently because my family needed me for a little bit, and that's fine. You prioritize that for a little bit. If studying, like step 3 in intern year needs priority, you prioritize that for a little bit. If physical health is important to you, you prioritize that a little bit every day. I think consistency, scheduling, time management, organizing, all the things that you need to be a good, well-rounded physician is exactly the things you need to be good, well-rounded in all the other aspects of your life. That we're all so type A as physicians. A lot of us, I mean, some of us are type AB mixed, but you know how you're sitting there in med school and you're writing out, I got to read this lecture in cardio. I got to do these questions today. I got to make 30 minutes for a run. It's not different. It's not different. The only thing is now, instead of all that studying stuff, you're on the job, you're looking at your patients, you're reviewing as you go, you're, looking at up-to-date Hippocratesing, you're picking your senior's brain, like what the heck is going on, you're learning with your attending, so all that studying is now swapped out for hands-on learning. When you go home at the end of the day at 5, 4, whatever, you make time for yourself, you make time for your education, you make time for the things that you love, and I think, Jessica asked this question, Jessica ALA123, that's the best way I would answer that. So take care of yourself, most importantly. Sorry, let me come up for a second. I missed a few questions. What's your YouTube channel name? It is VMD. Check it out. It's also on my Instagram, linked up. I have honestly so many videos pending editing. I just can't get to it. I'm sorry. It's a little bit old, but soon things will come. It took me a long time to determine what I'm going to do for fellowship. So I prioritize that over social media stuff for a while. And then you kind of bounce back into prioritizing other things, and things eventually balance out. Okay, great. What kind of specialties would you recommend for applicants that don't have any research publications? Shawarma, I'm telling you right now, stop. You need, listen, research is important, very, because adding to the medical community is important. That being said, don't tailor how you're going to lead your whole life based on whether or not you have research applications or publications, I mean. Okay? You're going to be doing 50, 60 years in this career. If you love medicine or you love peds and you're going to do surgery or whatever, or vice versa, because you don't have research of it, is it worth it? It's not worth it, man. I'm telling you. Were you going to work 80-hour weeks doing work in a field that you don't love? That's a miserable life. Okay? That's literally life advice, not even anything else. You gotta do what you love, because it seems all nice and fun from the outside when you're interviewing, when you're sending rank lists. Ooh, it's all fun, yeah, Instagram posts. But listen, when you're working, I think I'm a little bit swayed because of the pandemic, okay? There have been times where everyone's crashing, not to scare anyone, but this is the life you chose, and you have to be ready for crises, the good and the bad, right? So I don't think you should determine what your life's path, your career path, your medical specialty, where you're gonna, put your hard work and sweat into based on if you have research publications or not. If you feel like you want to apply to a very competitive specialty, urology, surgery, radiology as an IMG, 100% possible, 100% doable. People have done it. You take an extra year off, you do the research. You make networks, you do the research. Do not apply to something you don't love because you don't have research. Make the research happen. And I know it's easier said than done. I know that. I know a lot of the times for IMGs it's very difficult to get U.S. research, but you don't have to have just U.S. research. Okay, you can do research in your home country. You can publish case reports. Oh my God, I interviewed someone a couple of months ago for my program. She had like 5 case reports, and she was from India, and it was like cool stuff, like zebras that we don't see here in the U.S. Okay, do it. Make it happen. Don't make excuses. Make the research happen, but do not determine your specialty on whether or not you have research. That is a long life, of unhappiness, my friend. I hope that helps. Listen, hard love. I'm all about tough love. I'm sorry. Just a first generation immigrant, first doctor in my family. Tough love is what you're gonna get. Okay, Rux. I completed a hands-on rotation in January, and even my LOR is uploaded. What is the best way to make programs know about it? I can't add LOR as I already did 4 prior. Okay. Unfortunately, there is a cutoff, right? Minimum 3, maximum 4. If you've already uploaded 4 LORs, I don't think ERS will let you upload it. However, you have a new LOR in January. You can't upload it through ERS. I don't know what else to tell you. Do I recommend you start emailing out the LOR? Not really. Just because I can't. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I take that back. Maybe if you really love a program and you want to send it to them and they're okay. Remember, they have to be okay with email communications because some programs kind of say right off the bat, we don't want that. So be wary of that, please. You don't want to be on someone's bad books just because you sent a nice little email with your LOR. So I would determine whether or not you want to send it. But honestly, on ERAS, once you've submitted 4, and also it's just too late. You can't, yeah. That's my short answer to that. Okay, great. More questions. I'm just rolling down. That's very helpful. Okay, sorry, V. Shawarma, just hope you like the tough love there. Okay, Ahana Gupta, does teaching preclinical medical students as a clinical medical student, so teaching others, count as volunteering? Teaching others in medicine, totally, yeah. Volunteering, extracurricular, 100% goes in there. If you got paid for it, obviously put that in employment. For example, I was in DES and SG, which means I was also a clinical student instructor that you got paid for. So I put that in employment. If you didn't get paid for it, put it under volunteering. Don't forget, very, very, very important, in your ERAS, in your description boxes, do not let that precious space go to waste. Okay, Ahana, when you're typing up, volunteer as a teaching medical students, whatever, do not forget to write out in that description box, that juicy box, skills you learned. Give me the gist. How many medical students did you teach? How often did you teach? Tell me that you had to stay current on guidelines. Tell me the resources you use. Tell me how awesome of an experience it was. Do not forget to use that delicious space under ERAS that does descriptions to give me that awesome information. Don't leave it dry. I edit people's ERASs and personal statements as a side thing. And I see so many dry ERASs, if that's a word. So many dry applications where it's like, give me more, okay? So yes, Ahana, long story short, yes, you can definitely put that under volunteering. Don't forget to sprinkle in all that juicy information. You need to paint a picture. When someone's reading the application, they want to be like, damn, Ahana's a good teacher. She's passionate about this, etc., etc. Okay, how can I get a job at Match a Resident? Dr. Z, you want to fill in for this one? Someone's looking for MAR employment. I'll tell you this much, though. Be Shawarma. You work hard, you put in the effort, and whether, and you match, even if you don't match, whatever, but if you're passionate, definitely Match a Resident is looking for people that are IMGs, that have a voice, that can stand up for the platform. So message Match a Resident, and I'm sure someone will get back to you. But in terms of a job, I don't know. We'll let Dr. Z answer that one. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, I think that's all the questions on here. Let me see if I have any other in my notes. 1 second. Oh, never mind. We got one. Stepmonic, what if we did well on the interview, but the virtual second look was dry? Will it change the program perspective about me? Again, it's a little different because I think it's very case dependent. I didn't have any second looks in mine. I don't know if that's more upcoming because of virtual stuff, maybe. In my year, there wasn't a lot, at least I didn't have any second looks, and I thought that was fine. When you say dry, actually, Stepmonic, was that you felt dry about it? Like, if you did, but you felt like the interview went fine, don't stress too much about it. I think that, again, and I cannot answer this earlier, I think that if it's a program you love, that's how I went. I went with what my heart wanted. The first program that I ranked, I didn't think the interview went well either, but I still took the risk and I ranked it first because I knew that if I did match there, I would be extremely happy. I was very happy in my top 5 even. I matched top 3, but my top 5 even, I was very, very happy. would have been very happy based on the rank list. So I went and I ranked based on how I felt about the interview. And that's why writing your gut feeling right after that interview is so important. Sorry, I got distracted with Dr. Z. He says, you can always contribute as the rest of the wonderful ambassadors. Contact MAR. There you go, guys. You guys want to be an ambassador? Please join. We need a ton of positive energy for IMGs out there because we make a huge chunk of this healthcare system, and that's very important. What's your Instagram handle? It is Solanki MD. You guys can check me up on MAR later. There was one more, I think I missed one more question, and I'm sorry if I did. I don't know, I don't see it anymore. It might be too high up. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. Please ask your question again. I would love to answer that. In the meantime, I will. No, Dr. Z, that was a great interruption. Okay, let me go back to my notes real quick because I did write a few questions. This one was just a great, this one was asking me, what fellowship are you thinking of and how did you decide? Oh my God, fellowships are such a hard decision if you're like me and you're somebody that likes everything. I liked everything. I went into CCU, I loved it. I did Palm Crit, I loved it. I went to endocrine, I loved it. I go to Y Block, and I'm actually going to say something about Y Block for people that don't know what that means. I love clinic. I love outpatient. I love everything. So it's so hard to decide, and I'm still kind of on the fence about whether I want to do like a bariatrics metabolism fellowship, which is very competitive and very rare for IM, versus if I want to do hospitalist medicine mixed with outpatient. Long story short, fellowships are hard to decide, but I think if you network with your attendings and you start the research in your first year, you can really figure out what you're drawn towards. Don't forget, as you're choosing fellowships, don't forget things like not just the academia, lifestyle. How happy are you learning that content? Like, do you love Palm? Like, do you love it? Or do you love it? You know what I mean? Like, when you're studying and you're doing those questions, you love it? Are you acing it? Or, or are you just trying to do a fellowship to do a fellowship? Questions you gotta ask yourself. Okay, now I got more questions. Let me just go up. Chris, hey Chris, how do I find an elective in the US? I'm a first-year international medical student. All right, Chris, so we kind of answered this question already. Long story short, Reddit, Facebook groups, including Matcha Resident Facebook group. There is this doctor, oh my God, I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. Dr. Sebastian, I keep forgetting his name. But it's actually up on the chat. He says IM group as well. That he has a website where he has posted a Google Doc with a list of, I think it was updated last year, all the electives, observerships that are IMG friendly. It's in this chat somewhere as well. Maybe just go up. I literally don't remember, even though we talked about it like maybe 10 minutes ago. But yeah, that has been answered. Okay, Project IMG, thank you. Thank you, Dr. C. I don't know why I keep forgetting this name, Project IMG. Step Monic, do you know anyone who can answer visa questions? I am IMG on F1 OPT, but will have to get a J1. So I have a J1. It'll be great to know if someone has had the same experience. So I was on B1. So after Grenada and SGU, I came for clinicals in the US. I was on B1. I'm a Canadian. And then I have J1. So J1, the process is actually very, very simple. After you match, you will email your, what is it called? Your, like, embassy? Not your embassy. Yeah, something along those lines. I will get the exact information for you. Just DM me. But something along these lines. You're going to match. You're going to email your embassy saying where you match and that you need a letter that you have to get from them, and you send it to your program and they kind of initiate the process for you. Then there's no real interview. I didn't have an interview for J1 or anything. There is a form called the DS form, and it's based on your, so I got DS 2019, DS 2020. This you need every time you're flying in and out of US, because this is the proof, because it has your program information on it. It has the fact that you're on a J1, and it's year to year. It's renewed year 2 years. So every year you have to go into your program coordinator and get the new one, and it's signed by the PD. And it is of course, yes, it's a legal travel document. That is the DS 2019, 2020, something like that. There is also there's actually a great YouTube video. I can't remember who has it right now, but I have it saved on my YouTube channel where they described in depth J1 visa process. I don't know, it might be 2 or 3 years old. That's the one I used to help me, but I will find it for you. Message me. Sorry. Yes, Project IMG by Dr. Seabass. Thank you, guys. I keep forgetting that name. Okay, Sumit. Hi. Looking forward to hosting IG Live for all of you. Oh, yes. Guys, don't forget to tune in to a live this Tuesday. He is an interventional radiologist and also SGU. Look at that. I love meeting SGU alumni. We're all just fun. 99% of us are fun. 99%. Okay, Han, what visa do you have to get for electives if I'm 4th year medical student from the UK? So for SGU, again, we got a B1 visa for clinicals that was valid for all 2 years for me. And it's a stamp on my passport, B1. Yes, there's some forms that go with it too, but when I was traveling, I would just take the passport. It's not like the J1. The J1, I always have to take the DS form. There's no like J1. There is a J1 stamp on your passport, but that's not usually enough. At least flying Canada to US, it's not enough. But yeah, it's a B1 visa for electives. At least that's what I had. I'm not 100% aware. For matching, it's either the H1 or the B1 or the J1. H1B or something like that. Okay. No worries. You're welcome. Visit MAR blog for visa questions. Rep. MAR coming with you with all the good stuff. The med student, you're very welcome. I'm glad this is helpful. As you guys can hear the sirens in the background. New York, the city that never sleeps. Someone's always in an emergency. I bet, how much you guys want to bet whoever is being taken to the hospital right now, I'm probably going to have them on floors tomorrow. I'm getting a lot of hearts for that. So, don't wish that on myself. Okay, great. I have like 2 more questions on here that I saved from earlier. Okay, this was a very good one. Hey, I'm actually going to be applying for residency this upcoming year for the next year's batch. What do you think and / what is your advice on applications in general? How early should I start? For example, personal statement LORs. Okay, I'll give you my lowdown. So I started working on my personal statement January of the year I was applying, just because I thought I was a terrible writer. Ends up, in hindsight, I actually had over like 40 personal statements every year. And a lot of them have matched. So, and I think that comes from the experience. But the first year, obviously, that I applied, I started in January, my personal statements. I started collecting LORs. Again, everyone's different. I'm talking more Caribbean IMG route because that's my experience. I started collecting LORs from the first clinical rotation that I had. It is MS3. I think I actually started off with OBGYN. Yeah, I did. I started off with OBGYN, and even though I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do with my life, again, I liked everything. I got letters from every single core rotation. And then because I kind of secured myself. I didn't want in MS3 or when I got to MS4 running around for a letter. So as soon as I finished a rotation, if there was an attending that I loved, that it worked really well with me and I jammed with, I just went and said, hey, this is something that I might be thinking of. Do you mind writing me a LOR? And a lot of the sites that Caribbean IMGs go to, there is a designated coordinator there. Like, for example, an SGU program coordinator at that site. I did it in Brooklyn Hospital, for example. So I had one person that all the LORs went to, so they would collect them because, of course, confidential. So that's my advice on LORs. Start as soon as you can start, okay? And in terms of lining up electives, if you're missing LORs, or if you're, let's say, by the end of 3rd year, you've realized, okay, surgery is where it's at, this is my passion, line up those electives first, because you want to get those elective extra LORs before that deadline in September, October, okay? That's what I would say. So right now, I wouldn't be too crazy about the actual application. Start writing a list, go through your resume, go through your LinkedIn, try to remember all the good stuff you've done. Oh my God, I volunteered for this back in 1st year med school. Let me write this down. Make a good running list so that way you have something to work on that makes it during application times a little bit easier so you're not forgetting. Those are a little bit of a thing. Dr. Z says, intentionally work hard for your LORs and collect them early. Could not have said it. Could not have summarized that better myself. Exactly. All right, I'm just going to roll up Yes, I agree. Never wait to get your LORs. Very, very true. If you want to plan now, if you're like this MS3 going on to MS4, you're going to be applying this year, prioritize LORs, prioritize getting your general resume of all the great stuff you've done, employment, extracurriculars, volunteering, research. Okay, don't forget to update your LinkedIn while you're at it. Maybe go get a picture early on from Groupon or something. Start working on your personal statement. But I would definitely prioritize LORs if you're kind of looking forward to applying this year. Okay, I hope I didn't miss anyone's questions. I don't think I did. All right, awesome. So we're basically coming on to the full hour. If anybody has any more, love all the hearts. If anyone has many more questions, I'm going to do this like 2-minute quick times right now. Please send all of your questions. If not, Instagram, you can always reach me. And MAR has a lot of great ambassadors that are here to help you. Oh, someone says, hey, Dr. Z, good chat. Awesome. So I'm going to head out. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you guys need more rank advice, help, please feel free to reach out. Like I said, me or any of the ambassadors on MAR. I think MAR is such a fantastic platform. I wish I had this when I was going through it. I feel like I would definitely be less nervous. Me and all my friends would have definitely spent less sleepless nights eating ice cream and trying to figure it all out. But I agree, Match Your Resident is totally amazing. Please keep sending all the love and support, you guys. And there's a lot more great stuff coming up. I think there's a live tomorrow, and clearly there's another SGU grad coming in on next Tuesday. So I'm excited for that too. Bye, guys. Have a great night. Take care. And I will message you first when I match to say thank you. I would love to hear back from everyone where they match. Yo, look at that. Somebody got a residency because of MAR. Okay, I love all the love. Keep spreading all the love. Take care, guys. Good night. This is Dr. V.